The Made in Chelsea star Louise Thompson has been making headlines after opening up about her infertility struggles. Obviously, we'd had her on the show as well, hadn't we?
Amazing book too.
She's been revealing plans to freeze her eggs in order to have another baby.
And she's not alone. 1 in 7 couples in the UK struggle with fertility issues, with IVF births now representing 1 child in every classroom.
We're joined now by leading fertility expert, Dr Linda Farahani. Good morning to you, Linda. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
I'm led to believe that statistically, this is the time of year where most people get pregnant.
So, yes, when you look at birth rates, September and October do have the highest birth rates. So then we sort of count back and we think, yes, December and January are where the highest conceptions will occur. But that will be for many reasons. So people aren't necessarily more fertile at this time. You know, they're probably thinking about having a September-born child, to have an older child in school.
It's not just because it's colder.
I think
and the nights are long.
Well, I think people are spending more
party.
time at home, and maybe January is a time when you are thinking about your goals for the year, and we're all making some changes and trying to be a bit more healthy and staying home a bit more. So maybe that also accounts for those statistics. Yeah.
But it can be incredibly disappointing for people if they think, OK, now is the time. Here's the moment. Because also as women, we tend to spend our lives not wanting to get pregnant until we do want to get pregnant, and then all of a sudden we're like, we really want to get pregnant, and now, please.
Exactly. My patients want to have been pregnant yesterday when they come to see me already. So I think January can be hard because the year's ticked over into the new year, and you think, well, it didn't happen to me last year, and so you're then hopefully thinking about how we can make it happen for the new year. But yes, it is. Fertility is really a devastating thing when it happens.
And the fertility rates are an all-time low in the UK as well.
Yes, that's what the statistics are showing us. So I think it's about 1.4 children per woman, which is the lowest. But that will be for a number of things, not necessarily that infertility itself is increasing, but that societally people are just choosing not to have children. There's less, I guess, stigma around not having children. So women are choosing, actually, I don't want to have a child, or I want to wait until I've met the right partner. The way we meet our partners has drastically changed in the last, however many years, 50, 60 years. So I think we're potentially waiting. And then when we do wait and we are a bit older, it can lead to some challenges.
So if you were a bit older, or you were facing some challenges and you were young, whatever your circumstances, are there certain things that a woman could do to increase her fertility kind of naturally, or lifestyle changes that she could maybe make?
Yeah, I think it's really important if you're a woman who knows that children are something they want in their future, and actually even if you don't know it at the time, but you're thinking ahead, things like practicing safe sex is really important, and then if you're on the pill for a long time, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but it might be good sometimes to just check in with your body, understand what your cycles are doing. Right. Do you have regular cycles? Are your cycles really irregular? Do you have really painful periods? These could all indicate that there's an underlying issue that might make you want to go and see a gynecologist a bit sooner, to just understand what your fertility might be. And talking about lifestyle, I think it's really important. There are things that we can control. So what we put inside our bodies, our nutrition, how active we are, all of these are going to be good for our general health and potentially for our fertility health as well.
What about vitamins and things like that? Is there anything that people can take to maybe help a little?
So I think there are good supplements, anti-inflammatory supplements, antioxidants, which are really can be really helpful. So vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin C, selenium, zinc, all of these are excellent. I would be careful about what you're taking and how much you're taking. So don't overload yourself, and maybe speak to your GP to just check what you're taking. If you're taking anything herbal, that's also something just to check in with your doctor.
What about, we often think that fertility is about the women, but men are involved as well.
Yes.
What about things that men can do, and understanding sort of the reality that actually sometimes it can be the issue with the man or the sperm that's going to cause problems?
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, because I think women do bear the burden quite often. I see lots of women who come and see me as an individual. They're in couples, but they come and see me on their own. They think it's because the problem will automatically be with them. But we know that when we look at fertility, about 30% is down to female issues and about 30% male issues. And then another 20% are a combination of male and women. So up to 50% of couples that we see, there will be a male factor. And it's the same for men, sort of being active, good nutrition, male-friendly supplements like selenium, zinc, lycopene are excellent. Heat is not good for the testicles, so saunas, hot tubs, cycling long distances, hot baths, things like that, the sperm don't really like. So if you're actively trying to conceive, those are the things that you should be thinking about not doing as much of, which my husband, when I had to tell him he couldn't use a hot tub when we were trying, was not happy, but it was what it was.
Oh, well, we've had lots of questions from the viewers too. This first one is from Sarah. She says, I have a 2-year-old son and conceived easily in the past. Last year, I became pregnant 3 times within a short period, but each pregnancy ended in a first trimester miscarriage. I'm now trying again with no success, and I don't understand why. I'm in my 30s, facing a 14-month wait list to be fertility tested, and I fear I am not going to be able to get pregnant again.
Yeah, I mean, when you've been through something like that, that is a lot.
It's a lot. 3.
It's a lot
within a short period.
That falls under the that diagnosis essentially is a recurrent pregnancy loss, recurrent miscarriage, which is a slightly sort of its own specific investigation. So it'd be just important that you check with your GP that they've referred you to a recurrent pregnancy loss clinic on the NHS, because that should be where you're seen. There are some investigations that I would recommend that you would have, such as checking for any blood clotting disorders, checking the womb, the cavity, you've had a baby, so just checking is there anything there that could have occurred since that pregnancy, and that would be what I would recommend that you would do. But you're young, and I know that sometimes feels that patients might be fobbed off because they're young, but it is reassuring that you're young, and as long as you have the appropriate investigations, hopefully we'll get to the bottom of why that's happening, and there usually is some relatively straightforward treatments for that as well.
Great.
Good news.
Right, this one's from Natalie, sort of slightly different because she's worried she's missed her chance to have another baby because of her age. I had my son at 32. I fell pregnant within the first month of trying. I'm now approaching 40, and despite 4 months of trying and using ovulation and advanced ovulation tests, I haven't conceived. I'm worried my age means I have missed my chance. My husband's about to go away for 6 months. He's in the military, so I'm worried that if I'm going to conceive again, it needs to be now.
Yes, I mean, that's
Lots
tricky.
of things there, right? Timing, everything,
Yeah.
Logistics.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, the fact that you've been able to conceive and have a baby is obviously really, really reassuring. If I were to see you in my clinic, you know, we'd go through a thorough history to see if there's anything that could have happened since then that could be making it more difficult for you to get pregnant. I would say when people have been very focused on ovulation with ovulation testing kits, it's sometimes just to throw them away, be having lots of intercourse because you could be just missing the window. So that's really important, just optimising your chance of getting pregnant naturally, how often you're having sex, making sure it's in the right frame of time, making sure your husband's ejaculating a lot, because sometimes people sort of save up for that one time at ovulation, and actually then there's a lot of dead sperm, a lot of debris. So you want to keep the sperm continually fresh, so that's really important. And so seeing how we can optimise, you know, getting pregnant naturally, but I think coming up to 6 months at the age of 40 is a good time to check in with a fertility doctor, just to see if there's anything that's going on, and if your partner is going away, some couples will choose to freeze the sperm and do fertility treatments if their partner's going to be away or in a different country. And that is something that you could do with either intrauterine insemination or IVF with your partner's frozen sperm, so you're not delaying that sort of 6 months whilst he's gone.
That's a good idea. This next one, have we not got time for that one?
I think we can. I think we should.
This next one is from Jill. I have had one beautiful daughter through IVF and still have one embryo frozen, which we want to transfer, but all of my preparation ultrasounds have shown that I have fluid in my uterus. I've had a procedure done to remove the fluid, but it's taken quite a few months and I'm now 47. I'm struggling to make the decision of whether or not to keep going with this, as we are still a long way away and there are so many hoops yet to jump through. Do you have any advice? It's really hard.
Really tough. I mean, great news, you have an embryo. That is amazing, fantastic. That gives you a really good chance of getting pregnant. As far as I can understand from from what you've said, the fluid has gone, so that's great. So hopefully your uterus is ready. Your chance of success is not the age you are now; it's the age that you were when your embryo was created. So if your embryo was created when you were, much younger, then your chance of success will be much higher. So I would say go for it, have an embryo transfer, and hopefully, you'll have a good outcome.
Love that.
Thank you.
Good luck,
you,
Jill.
Linda.
Linda, thank you. If you are having any problems with fertility, first port of call, of course, is to start with your GP. I'm sure that would be the initial advice you would give. But it's really interesting, Linda. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much.
For having
Thank
me.
you.